During the telephone conversation I had with Professor Ishaq Oloyede, he said that he's unaware of the existence of any association of private CBT center owners, as there's no demarcation between private and public CBT owners. However, members of the association have provided papers which indicate communication between them as endorsed CBT center owners and Jamb. Well, the issue of Jamb is not the only challenge in the sector. A report by the United Nations Children's Fund indicates that 40% of Nigerian children aged 6 to 11 do not attend any primary school, and most of them are in the northern region, which records the lowest school attendance rate in the country, particularly for girls. Despite a significant increase in net enrollment rates in recent years, it's estimated that about 4.7 million children of primary school age are still not in school.
What are the reasons why they are out of school? First of all, is this issue of funding challenge. Many of them cannot even afford the basic money to even transport themselves to school. You know, they cannot afford it. Then two, we also have parents that I'll call irresponsible. You know, irresponsible in the sense that, yeah, sometimes when they don't have money to pay in school, because when we now said, okay, you don't have to pay anything, we still had children that the parents were so irresponsible that they were making them hawk during school hours. What is the excuse? Oh, we need to eat first before sending our children to school. And these children have to contribute to the income of the house. And of course, which was, so they needed education, so what we did then to deal with these out-of-school children was to form what we call the Educational Marshal program, in which we recruited a lot of young people and appointed them as Educational Marshal. So what they used to do was to go around during the school hours and ensure that children that are supposed to be in school are taken back to the classroom. Sometimes they need to go and counsel their parents, you know, either in the market or at home, to counsel them, look, this your child has to be in school. Why is the child not in school? Yeah, the parents were giving all sorts of excuses. But after counseling, the parents agreed that, okay, the children need to be in school. So we were able to move a lot of them back to school. And I sincerely believe that that kind of program or something similar to that, you know, has to be, it has to be done in the whole country.
The federal government received thumbs up from Professor Ibidakwa Obe in its efforts towards keeping children in school through the feeding program.
It's a very good thing. I think quite a lot of these children, honestly, they hardly had an opportunity to have good feeding, okay, in those rural areas, you know. So I think it's a very good thing. I think it's a very good thing. I think, like education itself, there should be a standard for it as to what you do, and also there should be monitoring. You set up a standard as to what type of food that you should have, and while using the local contractors to supply these foods, I believe that we should monitor it to make sure that the standards, again, you know, if you continue to do this for primary school, they are primary school, but eventually, that's what caused the wahala in the university, that we have to say no more feeding. It's always good to do it and do it well.
But the former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Lagos does not believe that the unattractive state of education in the country should be linked wholly to inadequate funding.
Let's get the people who can teach and teach the students without looking elsewhere, both at all levels, primary, secondary, university, polytechnics, wherever. Most of the people that we see teaching now, they are looking elsewhere. They are just not satisfied sitting on their salary, okay, as contradistinction what was happening when we were actually being taught. Our teachers were happy. They were proud members of the society. They want to do what they are doing and do it and do it and do it and do it again. It's not like that anymore. The issue is that the Nigerian education system, we have not given it a serious thought. We have not given it a serious thought that it deserves. That's the problem. That's the problem. It's not like any other of the other sectors. But people try to mix it up and everything is mumbo jumbo. The university teachers are not they are not happy today. There's a threat of one strike or the other, and that is serving the public gives an impression that no work is being done around here. But I can tell you that
Todwaha believes that for the attitude to change, then basic needs such as salaries have to be taken care of, as cases where teachers are owed as much as 10 months' salary must be given urgent attention.
What I have been advocating, even when I was in government, is that there must be unbundling of some of these responsibilities, so that whatever the federal government is getting in terms of allocation, there must be part of it that goes for payment of primary school salary. And what I advocated, and many of us advocated, was that 5% of the federal allocation should be reserved specifically for the payment of primary school salary. It could be sent to the states, it could be sent, so what that means is that the responsibility of payment of teacher salary is taken from local government councils, given to the state, but with the understanding that 5%, because federal government is getting 52% allocation, 5% should be reserved for primary school teacher salary. It could be given to the local government council directly, with the understanding that there's 5% increase in the allocation. If we don't do that, we'll continue to have problems with payment of primary school teacher salary, and that is going to eventually cause disaster.
Professor Ibidakwobe brings another perspective to the funding issue.
When I look at the quantum of funding that is available through so many schemes, and I see truly the difficulties of accessing these funds because of certain things that are done, I think the major problem is human resources development. We know, let's just look at simple things, that the one that is available to everybody, TED fund, everybody who is in the public sector universities. Now, those agencies, they require you to do things certain way. There are processes that you have to go through before you can have access to that funding. Now, when you look at this, either because of delay in passing the budget or because of delay in meeting other obligations in retiring, as that's the language we use around here, in retiring what you've done earlier on, the funds allocated to your university or to your institute is piled up. And it's not being taken, nobody's utilizing it. Even though within the university, we see dilapidated equipment, we see bad infrastructure for the students to stay, we see quite a lot of things that really we should not be seeing, bad roads and stuff like that. So we see a need for that funding. But that funding is there, you cannot access it because you do not know how to apply for those funding. I mean, it could be so bad that universities will even have to go and appoint consultants to help them to access those funds.
The attitude of the society is another factor.
I mean, what does society pride in? If you see what is going on in our society today, quite a few things that would have been sacrilegious in those days are no longer. I don't think we're going to make an impact if somebody is sent out of the university for examination malpractice. You know, even the press, you probably will hardly have a space for it. I mean, it's not a big deal. Whereas, it's like a death sentence when we are going to the university. It's like a death sentence. You could as well just go and commit suicide. It's not like that anymore. So the society also is relaxing. Every day what we look forward to is another whistle blowing of huge money. It does not make any, doesn't really make, it's not impactful on us. So the society itself has influenced the university sufficiently that they seem to told the society that should not be the case. It's the university community that should show the examples as to what should happen in the society. Everything has been turned. It's an inverted pyramid, and that's the challenge we have. We need to find a way to get leaders within the university community, leaders within the education sector, who can put this pyramid properly, where the university say will assume the pride of place.
attitude, funding, focus. Well, the accelerated development of Nigeria depends on the quality of the mind of the people, and this is directly linked to the quality of education. So it's another area for work for the government and the people. That's it for this episode of Big Story. I'm Ini John Mekwam.